Hey people. Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey. Come on, Nicole. Okay. What are you doing, buddy?
Found a minion head.
A minion head?
Yeah, it's not a minion.
Okay. Hey y'all. Hey Classy. What's up, girl?
Heart. I'm a little minion.
Okay, you want me to call you after I get off here? Are you okay?
I'm a little minion.
Or do you want me to end the stream and call you real fast?
Whatever happened to his arms?
I don't know.
Okay, good. Wait, I wanted to read this to you guys because I don't think a lot of you got to hear it the other day. What's wrong? So.
I got a little minion.
Oh, you're showing them your minion. Okay, so I wanted to read this to you guys. The other day, I think I read it, and it was like really deep into my like 1 hour long video. And so I know some people don't like to watch the hour-long videos, so I wanted to read this to you guys real fast and kind of just have this video up as a reminder for tonight at 8 p.m. So I'm going to read this, and then I'll, call Classy. So here we go. Understanding why addiction is a disease. Shh. When your child is dying from cancer or another serious or terminal illness, people rally around you with support and comfort. You can freely talk about the disease, the course of treatment, and how you are dealing with it. There seems to be some unspoken rule, however, when the loved one is suffering from addiction. Unlike other diseases such as cancer, heart disease, or diabetes, there is shame that surrounds the disease of addiction. Okay. Hey, Nate.
Tastes like water.
Okay. When my son was dying from opioid addiction, to me it felt like he had stage 4 cancer, and only a miracle of God would save him from the terrible disease. I wanted to talk about it. I needed to talk about it. I did talk about it. I found not everyone was comfortable when I broke that unspoken rule. That says you're not supposed to speak openly and candidly about addiction. Hey, Lou. When I spoke candidly about his disease and treatment options, I often got that awkward silence and a look of shock and disbelief that led quickly to a change in subject. I decided years ago that I was going to ignore that stigma and do what I could to make a change. I would simply pretend stigma didn't exist and speak freely about our circumstances. This lady is so brave. I must say, there were many that listened caringly and empathetically, and for that I am grateful, but that dark cloud of shame still hovered over. I felt it, so I can only imagine what it must have felt like to my son. He expressed to me the guilt and shame he felt over a disease that he really had no more control over at that time than someone suffering from any other serious illness. He didn't decide one day that he wanted to be an addict. I have yet to speak to anyone suffering from addiction who says that is what they wanted. My son didn't want it. I listened to him cry on many occasions and voice that he just wanted to be normal, that he wanted to be the son, brother, uncle, and grandson that his family deserved. Yet he made a choice one day to take that first pill, and shortly after it was no longer a choice for him. His body required that pill to function. That cloud of shame, that unspoken rule, that stigma is often a hindrance for those trying to reach out for help and seek much needed treatment. That was the case for my son. Sadly, even a proven treatment for opioid addiction, such as buprenorphine, carries with it stigma. Medication-assisted treatment, MAT, is the use of medications combined with counseling and behavioral therapy to treat substance use disorders. For someone struggling with opioid addiction, MAT relieves the withdrawal symptoms and psychological cravings that are experienced when the person makes the decision to stop taking or abusing opioids. According to the National Institute of Drug Abuse, MAT decreases opioid use, opioid-related deaths, criminal activity, and infectious disease transmission. It increases social functioning and retention in treatment and improves outcomes in babies born to opioid-dependent pregnant women. So, okay, that's from according to the National Institute of Drug Abuse, okay? So let's hear what Matt does. Okay, let's hear that again. It decreases opioid use, so it decreases you taking opioids. It decreases opioid related deaths. It decreases criminal activity, and it decreases infectious disease transmission. It increases social functioning, so getting out and doing things, functioning in society, and retention and treatment, the treatment that you're learning, that you're retaining it, okay? And improves outcomes in babies born to opioid dependent pregnant women. It improves the outcome of that child being born. Because if a mother is shooting heroin or smoking heroin or whatever she's doing, that's putting her baby at high risk. But if a mother is on Subutex, then she is being monitored by her doctor, and she's going in for like weekly probably visits. I don't know. I wasn't on Suboxone when I was pregnant because I was ashamed and I didn't go get help. But now that I know what I know, if I was ever to get pregnant again, I would go straight to the doctor and get help if I was in active addiction. Okay, still, MAT is widely underused. According to the CDC in 2017, there were 47,600 opioid-related deaths. If MAT is proven to reduce it with MAT. After I relapsed following completion of a residential treatment program for opioid addiction, my son, desperate for help, enrolled in a medication-assisted treatment program at UAMS. While in the program, he had friends and family tell him things such as, "You're just trading one addiction for another, and you'll be on that the rest of your life." My son was discouraged from continuing treatment that is proven to decrease the risk of overdose. This stigma can also hinder the availability of MAT. Due to the negative public opinion, doctors may be hesitant to complete the training required to prescribe it. Arkansas currently has a limited availability of MAT prescribers. According to the Drug Enforcement Agency most recent report, Arkansas has fewer than 200 physicians certified to provide buprenorphine treatment, and many of these are not even prescribing buprenorphine. This limited availability was also a hindrance to my son continuing MAT. So I want to stop and pause right there. So her son ended up dying of an overdose. And I cannot tell you how many times I have heard from people that I know, from people that I've been friends with for years, from complete strangers, that when I told them I was on Suboxone, they were like, "Oh, well, you're just replacing one drug with another, or you're going to be on that forever, or don't you know you should be off that? Don't you know you should only take that for a week? Don't you?" Okay, for instance, the Rewired Soul said it in one of his videos the other day that people that are on Suboxone, they should be on Suboxone for 1 week and then tapered off of it. And I was just like, you have 83,000 subscribers and people are hearing you say that. What if somebody is on Suboxone and they hear you say that? And this is how I was when I was brand new and I just got on medically assisted treatment, you guys. I was so like vulnerable and I was so easily influenced. I was listening to what everybody was saying, and anybody that had anything to say about Suboxone, I was like, oh my God, does that mean I need to get off of it? Does that mean that I shouldn't be on it for this long? Oh my God, am I taking too much? Oh my gosh, somebody else said 8 milligrams is too much. Y'all, we have to consider the source when people are saying things like this too. Like, and I'm talking about me too. If you're listening to my videos and you don't agree with something I say, then go do research, because I'm not a doctor. I'm just a drug addict who's sharing my experience with being on medically assisted treatment. Now, I have firsthand experience being on Suboxone. Like, I'm not sharing experience that I don't have. Like, I have experience being on it. So, I mean, that's what I'm sharing with you guys. But, like, still, like, don't trust and believe everything you hear, because some people are such good talkers that they just talk, you know? And this is my experience that I share over here on my channel. MAT is a viable treatment option for opioid use disorder that should be considered. Just as the patient with cancer or heart disease listens to all the options and makes an educated decision on which treatment to pursue without shame, the person suffering from opioid addiction should be able to make those same decisions without the hindrance of society-induced stigma or lack of availability. My son ultimately lost his battle with addiction. In August 2018, he died of a fatal opioid overdose. For him, the disease was terminal, yet there was a proven treatment option. So, like, people don't have to die. If you're addicted to opiates, you don't have to die. There is treatment available. There are treatment options out there. I'll never know what the outcome would have been had he continued the medication assisted treatment. That's one of those what ifs. I deny myself from contemplating too much. However, I do feel like it's a good reason to speak up and hopefully spark conversation. Although I was determined to ignore the stigma, I still found myself at times giving into the fear and kept my mouth shut when I should have spoken up. I wish I would have fought more to explain the science and the effectiveness of Matt while he was here. I can't change that now, but I can change what I do today. Today I can speak up. It's time for all of us to speak up about the stigma of addiction and medically assisted treatment. It's time for us to educate ourselves to the treatment options that could mean life to someone suffering from opioid addiction. Today I say, break that unspoken rule. Speak up because shame kills. Do what you could do to stop the stigma of addiction and medically assisted treatment. So I love this article, you guys. I love this article. And this lady lives in my town. And this is like what I want to be like this. I want to speak up for the stigma of MAT treatment. Now, I don't know if you guys listened to my podcast that I did with the Addictionary, but I talked a lot about that stigma that I faced when I got on Suboxone and how people would judge me and how other addicts when I wasn't sober and how other addicts would try to shame me for the decisions that I made. Do you know what I'm saying? Hey, Robbie. And I want you guys to know that whatever your choice of recovery, your recovery like option is, just do what you got to do to stay sober and to stay alive and be happy. Like, I don't want you to just be alive. I want you to be happy. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it just took me finally getting to a point where I'm not going to let anybody talk down on medically assisted treatment. Like, if they have a bad experience with it, then that's their right to share. But 9 times out of 10, when people have a bad experience, it's because they didn't follow what they were supposed to be doing with their doctor. And that's what I've noticed. Because I kind of try to figure out when somebody says, oh, I've had a bad experience, this is what happened, I hate Suboxone. Then I ask that person, like, did you taper with a doctor? Did you taper slowly over an extended period of time? Or did you relapse, get kicked out of your program, and then run off? And that's what happened. That's why you jumped off Suboxone. That's what happens is, we have to also realize that we're dealing with other addicts, and some addicts are not in that place where they're being honest yet. So they're not telling the whole truth. They're not saying, well, no, I got off Suboxone because I just wanted to be off of it. So I jumped off after, I dropped down to 6 and then I jumped off 6 milligrams and I jumped off. Well, damn shit. Yeah, you're not going to be feeling good. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I just want to always make sure that you guys know that, like, all you have to do, you guys, is just be honest. Talk to your doctor. But I wanted to read that article because I felt like I read it the other day, but it was like really deep into my live stream. And I wanted to remind you guys that tonight at 8, we're going to do our medically assisted treatment. Just support group. And so what I wanted to talk about today, because I've gotten a couple of questions from other people who are on Suboxone and methadone. I wanted to kind of like Yeah, and that's it. Could sometimes I know that some people might be embarrassed or ashamed, but like we cannot truly get the help we need if we're not being honest with what we're talking about, right? So if I'm like if I'm mashing together and kind of switching around the truth, then I'm not going to get the help that I truly need. So when I'm telling you guys, like I'm being honest, I got out of treatment. I had been in treatment for 30 days, and that's when I got put on Suboxone. I didn't get put on Suboxone in detox. Like I weaned off everything, and I got put on it because I needed the extra help staying sober. Um, I've just gotten to a point in my life where it's like I know that honesty is what I have to do. It's going to set me free every single time. And no matter what, I'm going to tell you guys, what's really going on. And that is what's going to help me. So, tonight at 8, we're going to do the MAT support group. So, I know a lot of my viewers are on MAT, and so that will be up for you guys. What I was thinking that we could talk about, and you guys let me know if you want to talk about something different, because we always get to talking and then we kind of go on to something different. So I had Matt that was in the group the other day, and he had been talking about, struggling with going to meetings and feeling accepted, feeling ashamed that he was on Suboxone, and not feeling like he fit in. And so, what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about those feelings that we have, of feeling like we don't fit in, feeling that, and feeling like we aren't valid, that our sobriety is not the same as everybody else's. And I want to talk about how we can overcome those feelings and how we can rise up and start seeing, you guys, that, what? We, in our recovery, is our recovery. It's individual to us, and what we do is like what we have to do for us, right? But like, how, and this, so basically the meeting tonight is going to be about comparison, comparing ourselves to others, and how detrimental that can be to our own recovery. Because if I'm Nicole and what I have is something special, right? Only I have this. And what I offer is something different than what Lou offers, than what Krissy offers, than what Classy offers. Yeah? Okay. We're all different in our own way, and we're all special, right? We're all special in our own way. But in the age of social media, you guys, it's so easy to compare ourselves. So, before I get too big into it, because I'll just start talking and we'll have a whole hour live stream now. That is what our meeting is be about tonight. It's going to be about comparing ourselves to others and how we can find happiness in our own recovery and validation for ourselves. All right, guys, I love you. I'll talk to you later. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time.